What's up, you guys? Ross Sapp here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast, May 23rd edition, brought to you by TrendyButler.com and DDP Yoga. I am brought to you by I'm joined by Raj Giri, who's having a little bit of technical difficulties on his video right now, but also Vince Russo. Vince, you saw a man that you have defeated several times given a send-off tonight in Ric Flair. How are you holding up emotionally?
Yeah, I'm very sad, bro. Very sad. I wanted to be the one to put him out, but obviously I couldn't get the job done. But I think his daughter did a tremendous job, to be honest with you.
We will talk about that later, but there is important business to handle right now, Vince. We have told this story on several occasions. Our great sponsors, Trendy Butler, sent me an incredible pack of clothes last month, and in it was a cashmere beanie worth no less than $75, and it is too hot to wear it here in Kentucky. In Colorado, oh no, Vince, you have it, and you're wearing it up high like you were raised.
Like a toque. I'm wearing it like a toque, bro. You know what a toque is for my friends in Canada?
No clue what that is.
My friends in Canada, bro. It's a toque.
I was feuding with people in Canada tonight on Twitter. So, yeah, man. That thing looks beautiful, Vince.
Thank you. Yeah, and it feels beautiful, too. Bro, honestly, listen, Trendy Butler. I've wore a lot of hats like this in my day. This feels like cashmere. Trust me.
It is cashmere.
Very comfortable. It's gonna get a lot of wear. Who paid for this again, Sean?
A good friend of ours, Philip Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez, yeah. Thank you very much. The Pope thanks you very much. It was a nice gesture on your part, and I will wear my Trendy Butler hat in good health.
Yeah, I'm going to tweet out his Twitter handle. Guys, if you support the show, please follow this guy.
Yes.
Really awesome of him to step up. Donate $75 to the Pope, D'Angelo Dinero, or Elijah Burke's Love Alive charity. Great charity that helps feed the homeless in his area. Guys, we had Raw tonight. Raj, we still don't have you on video, but I want to know, what did you think of the show overall?
I didn't think it was bad. I still thought it was pretty by the numbers, but I thought the matches were good. I was shocked that AJ lost clean in the main event. But yeah, I mean, I thought Seth Rollins being back added a lot, and overall I thought it was a decent show.
I thought that this show meant very well. I thought that on paper, this show was going to be awesome. Unfortunately for me, it didn't quite deliver. I'll explain as we go along. Vince, how do you like any of the follow-ups after Extreme Rules last night? We have Seth Rollins back.
You know what I do have to say about this show? And Sean, listen, I believe it was on this very show last week, where you and Mr. Raj both said Seth is going to come back as a huge babyface. And what did I tell you? I said Mr. McMahon is going to want Seth as a heel. He's going to be a heel. That's exactly what Mr. McMahon did. What I like about this show tonight, bro, is there's a lot to talk about. A lot of times, Sean, I come on here and I'm honestly like, what the frig am I going to talk about with these guys? There's a lot to talk about tonight. That's a positive, and I look forward to talking about some of those things.
Vince, we got some heat last night for some of our opinions. You for your both of us for our stances on the Intercontinental title match, because we had people supporting us, bashing us either way. But the Roman Reigns thing, boy, we got it today, didn't we?
Bro, I got so tired today of people online, Sean, to be honest with you, like that. I literally just had to go out because either we're dealing with 10 to 12-year-olds or these people are just the most ignorant people on the face of the planet. Sean, somebody has to explain to me, like, when I give an opinion, listen, if you agree with the opinion, great. If you don't agree with the opinion, great. But when somebody gives an opinion that I don't agree with, I don't sit here and start cussing them and dog cussing them and calling them. I don't understand that whole logic, bro, of when somebody's got a different opinion than you, we got to start cursing them out. We got to start telling them how stupid and ignorant and all that. I don't get it, bro. I had enough today. It's my opinion. Whether you care, whether you agree or disagree, I don't care. And I'm happy to hear your opinions, but because your opinions don't agree with mine, I'm not going to tell you you're some kind of an idiot.
The thing is, I think a lot of people got upset because of my Roman Reigns hater imitation voice, which I thought was very good. But but the thing is, people are all too happy to criticize this guy and cut him down. You know, I heard, he doesn't have any moves. Well, that's not the case. I've heard he's not a good worker. Well, he is a good worker. He's having great matches consistently. All of these things, it's like you don't have to like a guy. You don't even have to have a reason. Like, I don't really like Kalisto that much. Not a popular opinion necessarily. Nothing about him I really like. He's a fine worker. I'm not going to sit there and say, yeah, he can't wrestle. He can't do anything. He's not my cup of tea. I don't care.
What was the voice?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, Raj, come on. Do you really want to hear the voice again, bro?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Raj, it was a little nerving. Sean,
I had a lot of people saying, well, Roman Reigns only does 5 wrestling moves.
Yeah.
You know that voice, Raj.
Yeah.
You know those people. Come on. And I love those people.
I agree with you. If you want to hate Roman Reigns, that's fine. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think Reigns is one of those guys. People are going to hate him till they don't, if that makes sense. Like the Rock, until he found the right character. WWE is not giving them reasons to really get behind the guy. But yeah, a lot of the criticisms don't make any sense.
Oh, and I don't care if people get behind him. Hate him, love him, whatever you want to do. But his character since WrestleMania has been just categorically different from what we saw leading into WrestleMania for the year prior. You don't have to suffer. Go ahead.
Right, but that's a problem too. Is his character is always changing. Like they don't ever stick with one thing. So, and they're changing it when it's kind of too little, too late. I think a heel turn would do him great. But yeah, back to your point. He's been having great matches. His match with AJ was awesome. Granted, AJ deserves a lot of credit for that, but he wasn't wrestling out there by himself. Roman held up his own, so he definitely deserves a lot of credit.
And as I said last night, you're not having that type of match with the Great Khali or Vito Lagrasso. It's not happening.
That was better than AJ's matches with Jericho.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that his matches with Roman were the best that he's had in WWE so far.
So one of my big things was everybody saying, Roman Reigns kicked out of all these moves. Chris Jericho kicked out of the Styles Clash, I think, twice. And they're like, well, they made AJ look so bad. Really? Did they? Because the guy got speared twice, Superman punched. He got super kicked by both Usos, a Superfly splash. He took 3 table bumps. 3 table bumps.
Right. They made AJ look bad tonight. And it was a good match and everything, but just clean in the center of the ring coming off a world title match. That did a lot more damage than the match last night.
Yeah. On top of all those, Black Tiger Bomb, he got slung into the barricade like he was a sack of potatoes. I just don't get it. I don't think AJ looked bad at all. Maybe he did tonight, but not last night. But luckily, we do have someone to kind of fill that slot. We have Seth Rollins back. He came out to a huge ovation. As you mentioned, Vince, he healed the crowd. They kind of got to go this way, don't they? They don't really have any definitive heels. Roman Reigns hasn't been a babyface per se, but he doesn't work in that role, but he's not a heel either. So do you think they had to go this way?
I don't think they had to, no. I mean, me personally, bro, I wouldn't have gone this way. I would have just generically, organically let this go where it was going to go. That's me. But, bro, with all the years I put in with Vince, I saw him do the same thing when Rock became the corporate champion. I was there for the same discussion when Rock wanted to organically go out there and be Rock, and Vince was, no, you need to cut a heel promo. Bro, Vince is never going to get off the babyface and the heel thing. He's never going to get all. That's Vince McMahon, bro. That's just instilled in his wrestling philosophy. He still wants to get Reigns over as a babyface, and in order to do that, Rollins has to be the heel. That's not going to change with Vince McMahon, bro. It's not.
Well, it's kind of like what I was saying last week, where you have Rollins back as a heel. He's still going to get cheered more, and it serves both purposes. But I think Rollins, you had to bring him back as a heel. They got really no one right now, and he's just such a great heel. I mean, I thought his promo tonight was great, and he didn't show any. I don't know if you call it promo rust or whatever, but he was comfortable out there and knocked it out of the park. So I love that opening promo he did tonight.
Indeed. Roman Reigns came out. Shane McMahon then came out, made a match for Money in the Bank. So we have our Money in the Bank main event, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. This has never happened before on pay-per-view. They kept trying to schedule it, and
Sean, can I throw something out there with you?
Sure.
Because this is the difference in my philosophy with the WWE. Okay, I'll tell you why. What did Rollins do to Reigns last night?
pedigreed him.
Okay, so Rollins had a receipt coming tonight. This is where I talk about all the time. You got to protect. You got to put yourself in the boots of every performer. Why didn't this happen tonight, bro? Tell me why didn't this happen tonight? Seth Rollins cuts a beautiful promo, and I like him without the skunk head. He's more credible without the skunk head. I like that. He cut a great promo. It was great to have him back. He pedigreed Reigns last night after Reigns just went 40 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever it was with AJ. Why doesn't Reigns hit the ring, go after Rollins? Why don't they brawl? Why doesn't Shane send out security, huge pull apart, and make the match right there? You understand, Vince, who wants to get Reigns over so badly and is looking at everything Reigns is doing through a microscope, the guy pedigreed him last night after his match. Reigns should have came straight away at that ring, looking for a receipt, even Steven back and forth, huge pull apart, then you send Shane, then you make the match. That's what I'm talking about, bro, about you got to protect every guy. And as we go through this night, you're going to see other examples where talent could have and should have been protected, and they weren't creatively.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Reigns didn't even say a word, right? I don't think he said a single thing.
Let's be real. Sometimes that's better off for Roman Reigns. But
yeah, but that's so like, I mean, my God, he got pedigreed after a 30-minute match out of nowhere, never saw it coming. He'd be coming straight away at Rollins. They could have got to the same exact place. That's where I get fired up, bro, because that's where you hurt Reigns. You got to protect the guy.
Yeah, right. I think that would have been a much better idea than what happened. Still built up the match. The promo got a good reaction because it's Seth Rollins and he's back, so good for that. We had several Money in the Bank qualifying matches, and I thought that was good, Vince. You, myself, Raj, we talk about how matches need stakes on Raw. These had stakes. Unfortunately, I thought a lot of them just didn't deliver. Some of them didn't actually. The first couple, were kind of iffy. I thought Zayn versus Sheamus was the best match of the first couple of hours. Sami Zayn won. Anything stand out to you? I thought it was just a fine match, Raj.
Yeah, I thought it was just good, but it's good that they're giving Sami a pretty decent win here. But Sheamus, man, his stock has fallen so much. I mean, the guy was WWE champion, in November. And here he is now. But, I like that Sammy's in it. It makes for a much better match.
Also, they're obviously doing a thing where they keep Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn connected, but not necessarily in one-on-one contests. Vince, for the way that this feud has gone, do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
Well, I want to say one thing about the match, bro. One thing. Listen, I like the Sami Zayn should have went over. I agree with that. You got to go with Sami Zayn. Now, Sheamus, like Rod said, he's done. Put a fork in him. Here's the only thing, bro, where I think veterans. I think of guys with a little bit more, and Sheamus has a lot of experience, but maybe like in Sam's case, this was the only thing I didn't like, bro. He badly missed that kick in the corner. Badly missed that kick in the corner. I wish they would have known enough to let the match continue for another minute and then get the kick in solidly, because that was bad, bro. He missed the kick and then he pinned Sheamus 1, 2, 3. I think if you had like a Cena in there, if you had, more seasoned veterans, they would have realized, man, that just looked like crap. We need to do that again. And I just think that hurt Sammy a little bit because the kick was off. But the idea of getting Sammy over with Sheamus, that was the right thing to do. I agree with that 100%. I think your mic's out. There you go.
I still can't hear you.
I can't either. I think we lost him, Raj.
You there, Sean? All right. Well, we'll move on until Sean gets back. But
Raj, what did you think about that? Because I listen. A lot of people, I'm critical of Sami Zayn, and people know this. But I think he was the right one to get over. But I just felt like he didn't get the shine he should have gotten, because I just felt that that kick really missed at the end. I just wish they would have went into something else to give him more of a convincing win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they kind of did that with Jericho and Apollo Crews when Crews missed that. They mistimed that finish at the end, and they improvised it and still got there. So yeah, I agree that did look bad, but I didn't think overall, it didn't bother me too much. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. And how you doing there, Sean? Still out? You still out?
Yeah, he is.
All right. So next we had Apollo Crews talking with Renee Young. Sheamus attacked him from behind. Said something about the new era sucking, and he left him laying. Vince, I thought of this when I thought of you when I saw this, just because the fact that Apollo didn't sell it at all later in his match seemed like something that would bother you.
Yeah, and this is what I'm assuming happened, Raj. I'm assuming this, and this is a lot of times where you fail to dot the I's and cross the T's, especially a younger guy like Apollo. But again, I'm putting the heat on the agents. You got to watch out for this kind of stuff. I'm assuming that was a pre-tape, Raj. I'm assuming they shot the Sheamus stuff earlier in the day. A lot of times, you shoot the pre-tapes so you don't have to do it during the live show. So I'm assuming they did that earlier in the day. By the time Crews went out, he forgot about that spot. But that's why, bro, you need an agent or somebody at the curtain telling the kid, Apollo, remember, Sheamus just knocked your lights out. You got to go through the curtain selling. So I guarantee you this was a pre-tape shot earlier in the day. He forgot about it, and nobody smartened him up. And listen, I wasn't the only one. I mean, I got so many people on Twitter basically was saying the same thing to me.
Yeah. So I guess that's your next feud, Sheamus and Apollo Crews. At least they're giving Apollo something to do, because I was getting a little nervous that he's already going to be, on Superstars limbo, because he had been on Superstars the last couple of weeks. So At least this kind of keeps him in the mix. He still really has no character right now. It'd be good to see him develop and do something with him, but at least he's being used. Then we went to the New Day. They had a birthday cake. They talked about how Raw has had its 1200th episode tonight. They talked about Raw being more than 23 years old. When you think about that, that is really impressive.
It's very impressive, bro. You can never take that away from them, bro. Every single week, that is as impressive as hell, man.
Yeah. So they you knew someone was getting the cake. The social misfits or whatever they're called came out. Now they without Adam Rose, they really are 3MB now. And this was kind of a predictable segment on the show. You knew who was going to win. You knew kind of what was going to happen. But overall, I thought it was still pretty entertaining. Yeah. What do you think?
Raj, I had mixed emotions, and let me first preface this by what I have to say about my own work. I had to go back today and I had to watch an old Attitude Era show, and for some reason we had Val Venus go out to the ring with a super soaker and squirt down Kaientai after they beat him in a match. And I looked at that and I'm like, what the frig were you thinking? It was so campy and it was so horrible. I was embarrassed 16 years later. So let me say that. Here's where I have mixed emotions. The last 2 weeks, I give them all the credit in the world for trying to come up with something new and creative for New Day. The Time Machine last week, trying to come up with something creative. The Cake, trying to create something out of nothing. I applaud them for trying to give these guys new material, stuff to work with, be creative. I just think it's coming across as campy. I don't think it's coming across as funny. I mean, bro, come on, we've been doing the pie in the face since silent movies. So I applaud them for what they're trying to do. I think there's just more of a sophisticated brand of humor that they can give these guys than, vaudevillian cakes in the faces. That's all.
I think that's kind of a problem with WWE comedy in general right now. Is it's pretty campy. It's not stuff that you'd kind of laugh in front of your friends over. It's kind of embarrassing stuff. But that being said, they are one of the more over acts on the show, and yes. I thought they did pretty well. But then we had Cesaro versus The Miz. We talked about this last time. I can't remember the last time a champion has won on Raw, and it continued here with Cesaro beating The Miz. You talk about titles not meaning anything. One night after Extreme Rules, like the champions lose, Rusev won the U.S. title, wasn't even on the show tonight. I just thought that's kind of unacceptable with a 3-hour show, that was your one title change on the show and you didn't have him featured on the show at all.
Y'all got me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Any feedback? Like audio feedback?
You sound fine.
Cool. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so I wanted to bring up the Apollo Crews thing. Vince, you mentioned he didn't sell on the way to the ring. That doesn't help him, and neither does not having a character either.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we?
Now we're on Cesaro and The Miz, and I was bringing up how The Miz lost, the night after, defending his title in that fatal 4-way match, and then how Rusev, won the U.S. title last night and wasn't even featured on the show tonight.
Yeah, they have this roster, and they don't have spots for so many guys, but then they take the champions and either treat them like trash or take them off the show. Vince, does that make any sense to you?
Well, here's what really doesn't make any sense. And listen, bro, I'm just telling you, this is where my buddy Road Dogg would come online and say, well, it's wrestling. Well, no, bro, I don't want to hear it's wrestling. It doesn't make sense. To Raj's point, Rusev won the U.S. title last night. But yet, Miz, the Intercontinental Champion, he gets a shot to qualify for Money in the Bank. Kevin Owens, who lost the match, gets a shot. AJ Styles, who lost last night, gets a shot. Cesaro, who lost last night, gets a shot. Sami Zayn, who lost last night, gets a shot. Rusev, who wins the championship, doesn't get a shot at the WWE title. That's horrible booking. That's not. I don't want to hear it's just wrestling. That is horrible booking. You need to figure out if the Intercontinental Champion is going to get a shot, then the U.S. Champion needs to get that same shot. You need to figure it out and book it in a way that it works for everybody, but you can't put 4 guys in there that lost last night, and the guy that wins a title doesn't get a shot at that. Doesn't get a shot.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I mean, come
100%.
on, this is where, and Raj, this is where I'm called a hater. Like, I'm supposed to defend that?
Right. No, I agree 100%. Wins and losses should have. By the way, is my video back?
Yes, it is.
Oh, and Sean, your audio is gone again. Don't touch anything next time you get it back. But yeah, wins and losses, you make them mean something, and follow through. And I guarantee you, the fans will care more about the product. But anywho, continue on. After that, we had.
And Raj, not for anything. If Rusev's not going to be in it, why not at least get a word from him in the back?
Yes, anything.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Who's calling the shots around here?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't make it seem like a big deal, the fans aren't going to think it's a big deal.
Exactly. Yeah.
So up next we had the Money in the Bank qualifying match, Chris Jericho, Apollo Crews. We talked about it a little bit. I thought it was great that Jericho had all the bandages on his back. I did too.
I thought that was tremendous.
He really sold the thumbtacks, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before, because usually the next night it's just kind of all gone.
I agree.
And then Chris Jericho on here. Seems like the right move. He's the bigger star. He means more in that match. What'd you think?
Listen, we can't go out there and get every one of the new era guys over. Some guys are going to have to lose because they would lose. So the crafty vet Jericho, Jericho beat AJ at the big pay-per-view, then he lost to Ambrose last night. Now he gets this win and he qualifies. I think that's the right thing. They've got to keep Jericho strong. They've got to keep Jericho as meaning something. So I thought getting him over in this match was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then we also had the promo with Charlotte and Ric Flair. I think this is something we kind of called, happening. We've been talking about it for some time. At some point, Charlotte was going to turn on Ric Flair. Now she's got Dana Brooke, and so it looks like Ric Flair, his current run with the WWE is done. What did you think about that segment?
Okay, a couple of things. First of all, I thought it came out of nowhere. I mean that was the only thing. I think they could have told a better story. But with that being said, Raj, I think she stole the show. I think she cut one heck of a promo. There was real emotion there. Some of it was really hitting close to home, him never being home and all that, Thanksgivings, Christmases. I thought she hit it out of the freaking park. But, bro, one thing about Charlotte is, and Rick, of all people, should be able to get her over the hump. She lets that crowd rattle her every time. Yeah. Every time. She's got to. All she's got to do is speed up her verbiage so she doesn't give them those spaces for the what chant. That's all she's got to do. But, man, do they rattle her.
Yeah. I mean, you can't say, if you say what one more time, and then they say it, you're just standing there. But yeah, it looked like she got the emotion, like there was real emotion here. It kind of got to her a few times. It seemed like she got a little flubbed and a little over emotional at times when it seemed like she wasn't supposed to. But yeah, I thought it was good. But to your point, it would have been good if it didn't come out of left field. Yeah. Like if there had been a little bit of a build or something explained why all of a sudden Charlotte doesn't want to have Flair, in her corner. And
the only other thing I really don't like, Raj, but I'm sure they did this because they had to, because Emma got hurt. Right. Now they had to do something with Dana Brooks because Emma got hurt. I get it, but you're taking away Flair, and now you're adding Dana Brooks to Charlotte. I just think Charlotte needs to stand alone. I think she's strong enough. I understand why they did it. I would have just tried to find something else so Charlotte could be by herself.
Yeah, it does seem like whenever they just kind of clump the women together for no reason other than that's what they do, it doesn't help them until they kind of break out on their own. And Charlotte had already gotten there, so it definitely didn't seem like they needed to do that here.
And, bro, I don't know what it is with her in street clothes, man. But God, she just looks so great when I don't know what it is. I don't know, but she looks.
Well, the good thing about this, Ric Flair's going to have plenty of time to sit at home and DDP yoga / wrestling.
Well, what I was going to say, Sean, is, to be honest with you, He's been wearing that same blue sports jacket since I worked with him at WCW. It's time for a visit to Trendy Butler for Mr. Ric Flair, if you ask me, bro.
Exactly. TrendyButler.com. If you haven't heard of the service, fantastic service. If you hate shopping like I do, go to TrendyButler.com, make a custom style profile, and you can decide, and they will decide rather, what you get to wear based on your favorite colors, preferences, patterns, what you like to wear, what you don't like to wear. All of that goes goes into their decision making, and they have a stylist send you this once a month, $65, and you get over $150 of designer clothes. Fantastic stuff. As I mentioned, when they sent me mine, I paid $65, and they sent me over $200 worth of stuff. And you can save $10 with the code Wrestling10, all caps. Please check them out. There's a link in the podcast post, so check them out and be sure to tweet them. Let them know that we sent you. Guys, is my audio okay?
Yeah, you are back.
Awesome. I have feedback on my end, but I'll battle through it.
Yeah, we'll just stick with it. The one thing with
I wanted to talk a little bit about this angle. It was really polarizing online. Like, what were the negatives and the positives both that you pulled out of this?
Well, Vince made a great point about just how it just came out of nowhere. You know, there wasn't really a build. They had been together for so long, and then just out of the blue, they're there. I will say this: I thought Rick, I mean, he cries a lot, but he does such a great job that it's hard not to feel for the guy. Like, you know, you're really feeling for him in the segment, even though you know that they're acting this out. And yeah, I thought Flair was great. What were people online criticizing it about?
Well, they said it started kind of slow, which, I mean, a lot of her promos do. She starts with the same type of, like, delivery and cadence that she ends with, but this time it seemed like it was going to go that way, but then it really picked up at the end. And it seemed like she was, like, fake crying to mask the real crying. Did it seem like that to you all?
It definitely seemed like she was going back and forth, or she was trying to. When she started real crying, she tried to really let it out, and then it seemed fake. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, I feel like it's kind of nitpicking. I mean, she did kind of go in circles a little bit. I felt like it took a while to get. They had made the point in the first couple minutes, and it kept going. But you know, that's kind of nitpicking. I thought it was good. Probably the best thing on the show.
Yeah, I thought this segment did a great job of doing what it was supposed to do. They made Charlotte look like a total jackass, and that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to get her over as a heel. Now the question is, who does she feud with?
I don't know, Vince. You got any ideas?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the health of Sasha is. I mean, I know she's got a concussion from everything I'm reading. I don't know when she's due back. I don't know, bro. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea.
You've already done Becky Lynch. I mean, you could do Natalya again. I mean, it was a disputed finish, and just keep that going for until Sasha's ready to come back.
But Becky just got beat twice by Dana Brooke.
Yeah. They are kind of short on the babyface side right now for the women. The Sasha's injury, really hurts that side. I mean, you could always bring Bayley in. She's been ready forever. Or you could just stick with Natalya for the time being. But even though it looked like they were going with Natalya and Dana Brooke.
Does Paige being off TV so much help her in this situation? In that they might be able to just insert her right in this spot?
Absolutely. That feud, it's been a while since they feuded, so it'd be fresh again, and it's completely different dynamic now. And Charlotte's a much bigger star, and she's probably the best heel that the women's division has had since Trish Stratus.
Yeah, I think Charlotte is leaps and bounds better as a heel than a babyface. Now, one of the highlights of the show, guys, Enzo Amore is back. Vince, Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions.
This guy, man. Bro, I don't know who's had this type of charisma since, like, I'm talking Rock, I'm talking Austin, I'm talking Shawn Michaels. I cannot believe they held this guy down at NXT for so long. Are you freak? Bro, if Kaz and Enzo are booked correctly, they can be the biggest stars in the company. Nobody on that roster, bro. Listen, I'm going to say this. I don't even think John Cena. I think he would be the closest. I don't think anybody on that roster has the charisma of definitely Enzo, and of course, you know, Cassidy. It all rubs off on him. They have $1 million package here, bro, for kids, for adults, for guys in college. This is money, 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 money. I pray to God they don't screw this guy up with the booking, bro. He is so special. But I can say on the other side of the coin, I could sit here and tell you that a Bray Wyatt should be such as special. And look what they've done with Bray Wyatt. So, bro, this guy has it. He's got it. I talk about the it factor. You don't learn it. You have it or you don't. He soaks in it, bro. I pray they don't ruin this guy.
Yeah, because you know Vince, regardless, just because of Enzo's size, that when that team loses, it's gonna be Enzo taking the pins. But do you guys catch that? He looked like he was wearing the Michael Jackson Thriller jacket tonight.
Yes, Jordan version.
Yeah, with like the Randy Savage Slim Jim kind of tied in a little bit. But that was I had to give him props for that. Yeah, man, Enzo when he's on, it's like everything just turns up a bit. Like the energy, everything. He's
Raj, can I say something about what you just said? Because this is where I get heat all the time, and I get heat because Vince McMahon taught me this. The first thing Vince McMahon taught me was, Vince, if you want to be a star, you gotta look like a star. When Enzo came out from the back, he's somebody. You know this is somebody before he even opens up his mouth. This is somebody. I would pick this guy out at an airport. Okay, as being somebody special. Rod said the Michael Jackson jacket. That's where I have problems with Owen and Sami Zayn. They come out looking like my next door neighbor. That's what I'm trying to make people understand. Enzo comes out, you turn your head and you say, who the F is this? Every star should have that kind of impact. Everyone.
Daniel Bryan didn't.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Daniel Bryan was unique. Nobody looked like Daniel Bryan.
Plus the beard and everything, I thought. I mean, if Daniel Bryan, before the whole yes chant, I'd agree he looked like a regular guy. But I think once he had the beard and everything, he stood out.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
A lot of guys with big-ass beards.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys with, military-style haircuts, but John Cena stands out. I think Daniel Bryan stood out.
It's presentation, bro. It's presentation.
But there are always exceptions to the rule. But to what Sean's point was. But more often than not, almost actually every time, the person that stands out of the room is the one that people pay money to see.
Also, Raj, did you get to see? Basically, it's like a new I don't know if it's new. Maybe they've done it before. As if these two didn't have enough catchphrases. They kind of did the what game with Enzo and with Cass last night, where he would list off a different food and the crowd would say, "How you doing?" I think that could catch on big too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I could see that becoming a big catchphrase and all over shirts and everything. So I mean, they can make a lot of money with these guys if they book them properly.
We had. Big Cass versus Bubba Ray. Enzo was obviously cleared for contact because he got physical during this match. So that's good news. It's not just him out there with a microphone. By all means, he should be able to wrestle, shouldn't he, Vince?
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing too, bro. As soon as I saw him take those bumps, I was like, well, good. He's good to go. They're probably playing it on the safe side. That's smart. Let him take a couple bumps. Let him get his bearings. Yeah, so that's good. One thing I got to give him props for tonight, Sean, and you and I were all over this last night, with the exception of the last match. A lot of these matches was one big move and done. Did you notice that, bro?
Well, I had a problem with that in the Ziggler Ambrose, which I'll talk about. But
okay.
But yeah, Big Cass won. They're still keeping him strong. Everybody knows what the deal is, as I've mentioned. So unless it gets to that feeling where, Roman Reigns used to get cheered. Big Cass is getting cheered right now. Raj, do you think that if he doesn't lose, does that help him or hurt him? Does he become a victim of his own success?
I think that absolutely could happen. If they start pushing Enzo down on the card and pushing Big Cass up, I could easily see fan resentment for that. I mean, that's what happened with Roman. They were fans were on his side. They popped big for Roman even after the Shield broke up. It wasn't until months down the road when he started getting that hard push that people really turned on him. So I could see that happening.
Do you? How old is Kaz? You guys have any idea, Sean? Do you have any idea?
I'll look it up.
The only reason I'm asking, bro, because he looks to me like he hasn't even filled out yet.
Oh, if you saw him a few years ago as compared to now, you probably wouldn't recognize him.
Yeah. I'm guessing he's 26.
He turns 30 this year.
Wow, really? Okay, that's a little older than I thought, but he's got a lot of potential, man. I mean, I think they're great. They just add energy, man, and that's what WWE needs.
Who do you guys think Big Cass looks like?
Everybody says Test.
Who?
Test?
Everybody says Test.
I think he just reminds me of Edge every time I see him. I see Edge.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Did you all talk Cesaro and Miz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose. I made a sandwich during this match, guys.
I said this before. I'm going to say again. I think that Brock Lesnar feud with Dean Ambrose really hurt him. I think he's just been hard to take seriously since, and I have a hard time caring for his matches right now, and this was one of them.
He doesn't do anything different ever anymore. He's supposed to be this unpredictable, crazy guy, but you can predict what he's going to do. And one thing I didn't like, he got super kicked right in the face. Did not sell it a bit. He did his rebound clothesline thing, and that's fine. That's part of his deal. But after he tried to pin Dolph Ziggler, he didn't sell it one iota. By all means, this has been Dolph Ziggler's finish of late, Raj.
I just think both of these guys have so much potential. There is so much money that could be made with both of them, but they've been damaged so badly with inconsistent booking and the 50-50 stuff, and I just think it's brought them down to where I think Ziggler's lost, and Ambrose could be close to getting there if he's not rehabbed.
This is another instance, guys, and I'm going to point it out here, and I'm going to point it out in the main event, and I've already pointed it out with the way they didn't protect Reigns at the beginning of the night. Bro, they got this new guy, Corbin, correct? He's cutting his promo in the back, and I got to tell you, we didn't bring that up, Roger. We forgot that. But he looked like $1 million, bro. He had his own little beanie. He had a nice little cut-off denim jacket. He looked like a star. He looked like he was somebody that got my attention. So he's cutting his promo. Here comes Ziggler. Okay, Ziggler challenges him to a match next week, a wrestling match, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so he's cutting his promo, and all of a sudden, he's getting challenged by Ziggler. Ziggler goes out immediately for a match. Where's Corbin? The guy just punked him out in the back. Where's Corbin? A much better finish to this match would have actually been if Ziggler would have had an upper hand on Ambrose, where it was like, oh my God, are they going to put Ziggler over? Here comes Corbin out because Corbin doesn't want Ziggler to advance in this tournament. You just punked me out in the back. Screw you. Those two get into it. It spills to the outside. Freaking Ziggler gets counted out. So Corbin caused him from advancing into the finals. They have their match set up for next week, and Dean Ambrose gets a victory. This is a time where he should have been involved in that match. They did not protect the new kid.
You know what else was awkward was, in that backstage segment, Ziggler was saying he wanted a technical wrestling match. Corbin basically said, no, I don't do technical wrestling. And then Ziggler's like, all right, we got a technical wrestling match next week.
Yeah.
So that was odd. But yeah, I agree with you, Vince. And I hate saying this sometimes because people get on my case for agreeing with you too much. But that absolutely would have been.
Raj, I'm stating the obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, you're agreeing with me. This is obvious stuff that, if you watch wrestling and you're a wrestling fan, this is obvious. And the last match was even worse.
Yeah, absolutely. I was waiting for the Bullet Club to come out.
Sorry, Rush. Vince, you really would have liked Baron Corbin's role in NXT. He was basically the indie wrestler killer.
I saw him, bro. I saw him a couple times, and I was impressed with him there. I saw him a couple of times.
Him on Breaking Ground, he was fantastic because it's kind of like, the NXT reality show, and he really furthered that. He solidified his persona as, I got this shot when other people didn't, and I'm taking advantage of it. And they haven't used that at all on the main roster. It seems a little weird to me.
Bro, and to Raj's point, Raj, now I'm going to agree with you, okay? To Raj's point, that the verbiage was so badly scripted between Ziggler and Corbin. Yeah. I mean, it's not on that. Unfortunately, they're saying it. Somebody wrote that crap. It was so bad, the verbiage, that, yeah.
Oh, there was plenty of crappy verbiage on this show.
Yeah. And what do you mean by a technical wrestling match? What is that? What does that mean?
I remember this was a thing. Kai and Tai challenged the APA to a technical wrestling match one time.
So can you only win by submission or?
Well, from what I remember, the APA kept going for strikes, and Taco was like, "No, you can't do that." So I don't know. That was very entertaining too. They had a Holy Foley vignette promo for the show, but more importantly, Mick Foley was in shape, you guys.
Go on.
It was that ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. No kidding, guys. Mick Foley lost 50 pounds. I think his goal was something like 75 or 100, and he did it using ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. As one of our former hosts, David Bixenspan, said on Twitter, it's obvious that Mick Foley hasn't adjusted his wardrobe for his weight loss, and it looked hilarious.
And he won't, bro, because he's so freaking cheap. Not even Trendy Butler prices would make him change.
Yeah, what's up with that, Mick? We need to get Mick Foley on some Trendy Butler because he's already on that ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. And you can be too. Go there, get a great deal on the Max Pack. Also, if you're a traveler and you want to stay in shape, you want to work out, use that DDP Yoga Now app. It's fantastic stuff. You can get a workout anywhere that you have a phone signal. Also, you can see how guys like Jake the Snake Roberts use ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. to help them to right their ship, so to speak, by checking out the Resurrection of Jake the Snake. Available on demand everywhere, Google, iTunes, Vudu, PlayStation Network, and for a limited time, a Blu-ray. So check that out as well. Of course, tweet Jake Snake Movie and DDP Yoga and DDP. Let them know Wrestling Inc. sent you. You all going to watch this Foley reality show?
I think I'll be skipping that one.
Yeah.
Shocker. They did a Shining Stars vignette, and they had the balls to say, "Did you hear that crowd last week?" Which was obviously a reference to the crowd not making a noise. I thought that was kind of funny, Raj.
Yeah, if that's what it was meant to be, or
surely
out of touch writing.
Vince, is this a good sign or a bad sign that they're in vignettes again 1 week after they debuted?
Bro, let's talk about AJ and Kevin Owens, please.
See, there's no optimism anymore. I remember when the vignettes were airing, you're like, I'm interested in these guys.
No, that never came out of my mouth.
No!
I was interested in them if they were cousins and had a thing for each other. I was interested in that. Outside of that, I don't care, bro.
You are not doing your own Twitter feed any favors, Vince. You know how I write those articles to push the podcast at the end of the week?
Yeah.
Vince Russo would love the idea of gay cousins.
Yeah.
Hey, Game of Thrones has done worse. So.
Yep. I haven't watched that yet. I need to. Yeah. AJ Styles, Kevin Owens. This kicked off with AJ Styles basically breaking up with the club. Not only breaking up with the club, they are no longer friends. This was the cheesiest damn thing I have seen in a long time on this show. You could tell that Gallows and Anderson were not comfortable. AJ was not comfortable, albeit maybe a little more comfortable delivering this terrible, terrible scripting they were given. Vince, you know, they're split up. They're not buddies anymore. Whatever. What did you think of this?
Listen, they got no. Between those two guys, the club, Owens, maybe Owens, and AJ, they got nobody over. Nobody's character over. Let me explain to you, Sean, how simple this was. You have the in-ring, okay? AJ breaks up the marriage. These two guys aren't happy. They beat the living crap out of AJ. Okay, bro? They have to stretcher AJ out. Okay, bro? So now they stretch it out. Now Owens starts saying to the ring announcer, count them out, count to 10, raise my hand, count to 10, count to 10, count to 10. We go to commercial break. Okay, bro? We come back. They're in mid-count, 3, 4, 5. Owens is eating this up like a Cheshire cat. Here comes AJ Styles, Spirit of 76. The announcers are putting it over like $1 million. Not only did he take a beating by those two guys, let's not forget last night's match against Roman Reigns. Is AJ Styles kidding me? AJ Styles fights the match from underneath everything he's got. Owens beats him because of the prior beating he just took. Now you get the two big guys over for laying AJ out. You get the heart and the spirit of AJ Styles over, and you get Owens as a heel over for beating a beaten guy. Everybody wins. The way they did it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. None. That right there came off the top of my head. Right off you want to get everybody over, this is how you get everybody over. Bro, then they sit there and they wonder why nobody's over. This is why nobody's over. You could have got all three parties over with the correct booking here. But what do? You have Owens beat AJ clean. Owens gets over. Outside of what does that do for AJ? What does that do for the club? Zero. Nothing. It hurts.
And if you're building Owens as this dastardly guy, I mean, he looks like more of a competitor, and that's always going to help a little bit. But Kevin Owens has not shied away from doing whatever he can to get ahead. I think that would have been a great idea.
Yeah, I mean that's a fantastic idea. And but you know, I have a problem with the club breaking up already. They've only been around for such a short period that no one cared about the breakup because they haven't really been established as the thing. Yeah. I hate when guys just get together and you're breaking them up just a few weeks later. So I felt like that seemed way too early, unless they really want to go with AJ as a babyface and felt like they had to do it. But otherwise, it seemed like something you didn't need to do right now. But Vince, again, I think that idea would have worked great here.
Where do we go from here? AJ's got to be involved with them at Money in the Bank, right? He's not in the main event. He's not in the Money in the Bank match as of yet.
They could do something with AJ and a partner against the club.
Ooh, let's speculate.
Yeah.
Who would the partner be? We're back to this. Who's siding with who? Me and Vince talked about that last night, about how long we said, ooh, is Roman Reigns going to join the club? Is he going to – we were doing the Birdman hand rub and all that stuff like in the music video. No, nothing happened.
Right,
It was the same old damn Usos that nobody wanted to see.
Right.
And now the club split up. But, I mean, the matches were good. So was this – what I want to know was a lot of the build of this angle kind of – I don't want to say for nothing, but – I mean, there's no club anymore. It's got to go somewhere.
You would think so. You would think that's the next feud. It's weird that they've been advertising matches with AJ Styles and Gallows and Anderson against I think it's Roman Reigns and the Usos, for the next couple of months for live events. So it seems like it's something that they changed in the last couple of weeks, but unless it's a big swerve or something. Maybe Styles keeps losing and realizes he needs the club.
Vince, we had this match. Owens won. What did you think of the match?
And I'm not just saying this, and I think you'll agree with me, Sean. I don't think this was one of their better matches. But, again, listen, bro. Listen. What both of them put themselves through last night, we got to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
We're just assuming they're going to go out there and have a great match. God knows how they felt when they woke up this morning, both of those guys. So it's completely understandable. So, I felt it was a little lackluster, but I think that has a lot to do with their effort last night. I'll be honest with you.
They still went at it hard. I mean, Owens powerbombed AJ on the stairs. Over the last 2 nights, the amount of punishment that AJ Styles has taken. 38 years old. Yeah. Thank God he has that ddpyoga.com/wrestling.
Absolutely. I was almost wondering if this match was done to write him off TV for a bit so he can rest up, because he did, take a little time off before the pay-per-view to, rest up. So who knows? I mean, if that's what it is, then I guess it makes some sense, but I don't see why you beat AJ Styles clean the night after he was just in a world title match.
Vince, how would you rate this show out of 10?
Out of 10. Okay, out of 10. Sean, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give it I think I'm gonna give it a 7. Because I think they did some good things, but I think they also missed a lot of opportunities. So
I think this show
would give it a 7.
I think this show could have easily been an 8, almost a 9, if some of the in-ring work was a little better. But like I said, I thought on paper this show could have been just outstanding, because almost every single match you have a reason to care about because they're qualifying for Money in the Bank. And that's not something you can do all the time. You saw a little bit of it with that tag team tournament. They gave you a reason to watch the matches. But, like with the Cruz Jericho match, Cruz doesn't have a character. They kind of messed up. They did that spot that Apollo Crews messed up. I didn't, I rarely will you hear me not like a Cesaro match. I didn't really like his match with The Miz. Yeah, I'd probably go about a 6. Raj, what would you give it?
Yeah, I'd probably go a 5 or 6. I just feel like when it's a post-pay-per-view show, you should have more happening, and I didn't feel like not much happened other than the opening segment with Rollins and and Roman, and then the Charlotte angle. So yeah, I'd give it a 6. Yeah, and I thought the main event was really good. I actually really liked that main event, so I'll go with 6. There was something I really liked in each hour.
Yeah. So next week, John Cena's back. Any direction where he's going to go? Do you think he's going to be... I mean, obviously he's not going to be in the main event because that match is set. Do you think there's any chance that he ends up in Money in the Bank?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it would make it that much more interesting.
Yeah.
And he's won it before. I mean, they could do the whole thing, kind of the same thing where he wins it and uses it for a title shot at SummerSlam. So, I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll have Cena in it, but they easily could. I know he's advertised for live events against Del Rio, so they haven't been doing anything with Del Rio, so maybe that's what he comes back to. Yeah.
Vince, where do you think Cena goes?
Oh, it would be absolutely tremendous. They should, bro. Listen, they should honestly. The WWE needs to bring me in for a week, and I won't even charge them. I won't even charge them. I'll just tell them, listen, here's what you guys need to do. Okay, bro? It's really simple. Bro, can you imagine they bring Cena back, and you got this Big Cass, and all of a sudden Big Cass says, you know what? I didn't come here to waste my time, and I know if I ever want to get anywhere in this company, I got to beat the top dog. And Big Cass calls out John Cena. And, bro, can you imagine if Cena has to cheat and heel to beat Big Cass? You are off to the freaking races, bro. And I know the whole deal. Cena doesn't want to be a heel, the Make-A-Wish and all that. Whatever. I get all that, bro. At the end of the day, it's a business. But you ever want to get that Kaz over as a huge babyface and make Cena a valuable heel? That's what you do. But they're not going to do, bro. It's going to be a Del Rio. It's going to be a Rusev. It's going to be something like that that nobody's going to give a living crap about.
I really like that.
I don't know. I don't know if it's
like that
Cena
idea.
that doesn't want to be a heel. He spent thousands of dollars on new gear and was ready to record new entrance music just a few years ago upon his own admission, I think during the Rock feud.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It makes all the sense in the world, bro. The up-and-comer, Cena's past his prime. He can't beat this new kid. It makes all the sense in the world. It's a great story. They'll get Cena over huge as a heel. They'll get this kid over huge as a baby. They don't have the balls to do stuff like that anymore, bro. I don't know why. Vince used to take great pride in having brass balls. I used to hear it all the freaking time. They disappeared, bro. I guess they disappear with age. I guess at 70, your balls are hitting the floor at that point, Sean. Even with DDP yoga, I would have to think at 70 years old, they're hanging.
Well, you can ask DDP in about 10 years.
But do something, man. I'm begging you, do something. Get us interested again. That would be a perfect example.
Vince, tell the people about the brand.
The brand, I'm on Podcast One, guys. You can go to podcastone.com every week or download the app. I do a daily podcast every single day. Tomorrow I have part 2 with Adrienne Curry, America's Next Top Model. Very good friends with China. She has some choice words for Triple H and Stephanie. She does not pull any punches, which surprised me a little, but I also think she's right. And then at the end of the week, The Swerve with Mr. Bob Backlund, one of my personal favorites. We didn't talk about him tonight. As far as I'm concerned, he steals the show every week. You can find out everything about the show on russosbrand.com.
Yeah, I like those Darren Young segments. Darren Young's very good in them, too.
Yeah.
Well.
Guys, also programming note before we get into some questions. Myself, Rob McCarron, are here on Wednesday nights to talk your midweek news. Vince, we will see you next Monday, my friend.
All right, gentlemen. Take care. Thanks for the opportunity.
Take care, Vince.
Bye.
Before we get into the questions, wanted to talk about a little bit of UFC. Michael Bisping replacing Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman has a serious neck injury. You know it's bad when Kurt Angle is tweeting on Twitter, "Hey, guy, follow me so I can talk to you about this neck business." First off, the thing that I say is, get the hell away from me, Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that's not who I'd be going to.
Yeah, Michael Bisping is going to replace Chris Weidman, UFC 199. Now, in their first fight, Luke Rockhold beat him with ease. Now, Luke Rockhold admitted in this fight that he accidentally headbutted Michael Bisping, and Bisping was not the same. But still, Rockhold at this point is on a completely different level. But Michael Bisping, finally, after 10 years, is getting his title shot. Do you give him any chance? It's hard for me to write anybody off completely in this day and age in MMA because we've seen so many crazy things. What do you think his odds are?
Chael Sonnen almost beat John Jones because if a doctor had looked at his toe, after that first round, he would have stopped it. So crazy
Could
stuff.
you imagine Sonnen's promo if that would have happened?
Oh, man. That would have been great. And the rematch would have been huge. But, I just don't see it. Like you said, Rockhold's on another level. Bisping, I'm really pulling for him. I like both guys. I like them a lot, but man, he's been in the business this far. Finally getting his title shot. He was so close, a couple of times, and then he lost to guys that were, on TRT or, other PEDs. So, he's finally getting there. It'd be an amazing story. But man, Rockhold is just a beast. So I just don't see it happening.
Also, we've mentioned Chael Sonnen. He was on the MMA Hour today. I would put the odds of him fighting again at about 90% at this point. He'll probably fight at 205. He was posturing to fight again. I would imagine before the end of the year we'll probably see Vitor versus Chael Sonnen at 205 pounds.
Yeah, I'll be watching. So yeah, that'd be.
Also, did you see the BJ Penn stuff?
I did not.
This dummy. He's out of his fight.
Oh, jeez.
He admitted to USADA that he used an IV 2 months ago. You can't use them at all.
But why would you admit that? How are they gonna track that? How are they gonna track that?
They can't. They can't. And the reason why it's illegal 2 months out is because a lot of times it's used to mask stuff. And Penn said, I've never used one after weigh-ins, which is one of the primary reasons they banned it. But you still can't use it. And he had said that he didn't know the rule.
It seemed like a waste of a BJ Penn fight anyway.
Yeah.
He
might have lost.
No, he probably would have.
Yeah.
But if he's coming back for the last fight, why not do it with a big name? And if he's gonna lose, at least he loses to a big name, and you get a young star over. But I forgot that he was fighting until you said his name, and I was like, oh yeah, he was fighting, but not now.
We'll get into a few questions before we go. Somebody says, does the term burial get overused by internet smarks? Anytime anything happens on Raw, there's talk of burying. I think it did a few years ago. I don't think it's as bad as it was then, but you'll always have people misuse terms.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's an exaggeration, but for instance, AJ Styles wasn't buried tonight, but he did have the stool kicked out from underneath his legs, the night after wrestling for the world title and getting beat. But he wasn't buried by any means. Now, if they keep doing this to him, then yes, it is a burial. But sometimes it's just easier to use those terms than say exactly what it is. But yeah, it does get overused a bit.
With AJ leaving the club, do we see the club come back with Finn Balor? I think that would be a good idea. I think Finn Balor is a really good heel too.
He is, and it just seems like a matter of time before he's on the main roster. But I guess what do you go with an AJ Styles? Going with the Usos, because then you got 3-on-1 and WWE logic. Then that means that AJ gets a couple guys. So I'd love to see an AJ and Finn Balor feud, and the club kind of in the background. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly where you go from here.
Also, Raj, we didn't get your take on Cody Rhodes asking for his release and being granted it. What did you think about that?
I thought it was a ballsy move, but good for him. If you can walk away from that kind of money and because you're not happy with how your career is going, I think that's great for him, because his career was going nowhere, and it's clear that I know he was blaming the writers Ed Koskey and Ryan Ward, but let's face it, if Vince McMahon tells Ryan Ward get rid of the Stardust character and have him go back to Cody Rhodes, Ryan Ward's not gonna be like, no, that's not what I had in mind. So it's clear that Vince and Triple H didn't have much direction for him. So more power to him. The only thing that sucks right now is that there's just nowhere really tangible for these guys to go. I mean, I can't see New Japan bringing them all on. I don't even know if a lot of them are a good fit for New Japan, but there's just so much talent that, is potential main event talent that's just sitting there that just really has nowhere to go.
Do you think when Damian Sandow heard this that he said, "Oh no, my bookings," or he said, "Oh sweet, my bookings"?
Yeah, I don't know if it affects it one way or another,
I
but
mean, they were a bit of a tag team.
yeah, yeah, I guess I don't know if it affects it too much, but Cody, it sounds like from what Dave Meltzer wrote, he still has some time on his contract, so
Yeah.
he's not going to be anywhere anytime soon.
Somebody says, is Charlotte the most improved wrestler of 2016?
No, she was pretty good. Well, if you're not talking in ring, then you could possibly say that because I think she's done just a tremendous job since she's turned heel. But her in ring work it is better, but she's been good for a while now.
Somebody says, do you see Kevin Owens going on to win Money in the Bank?
Usually they have a heel win it. I mean, it's not every time, but so who's
Is he
in
the
it?
only heel in it right now?
You got
No, Jericho.
but I don't see them going with Jericho. Then they had what they announced for SmackDown?
Well, last year, nobody saw him going with Sheamus.
Right. Right. I would pick Kevin Owens as the favorite right now.
Yeah, and they booked Cesaro versus Miz for a title match on SmackDown.
Right.
What
And then-
other title match
and then
was that for SmackDown?
Rusev against Kalisto.
Oh,
But they didn't have any Money in the Bank qualifiers announced yet for.
I guess they gotta do the rematch. I hate that they have to do rematches all the time.
Yeah.
I hate it. We'll answer a couple more. When Cena, well, we answered that. Somebody says, Sean, I think you're missing the main complaint on Reigns. Most people admit he's improved in the ring and is better now that he isn't talking. The complaint is we feel that he's being forced on us. He hasn't lost clean in 3 years, has probably kicked out of 200 finishers in that time period. Kicking out of a Styles Clash on a chair is sinful. It's not Reigns' fault, it's WWE's fault. Well, I mean, we get a very wide spectrum of Roman Reigns criticism. I mean, everything. Anything you can think of.
Well, he
people
didn't.
will
He didn't.
find to complain about.
Plus, he didn't kick out, right? Like the Usos pulled him off.
Yeah.
So, but go ahead.
I agree. And you know what? The best guys should be able to do that. Like I said last night, Michael Jordan can hit the shot with 2 seconds left down too. You find that now I think that's been diluted a lot with all of the finishers that have been kicked out of. There didn't need to be 5 finishers that got kicked out of. Did the Vaudevillains versus New Day need a finish that was kicked out of it last night?
Yeah, you can't just go with Reigns. I mean, there are way more kickouts of finishers in an Undertaker match.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
that's just what main events are nowadays. It's
How long
pay-per-view
did
main
it take
event
you to lose
is
clean?
right, but a top guy shouldn't be losing clean. How much
Agreed.
what Hulk Hogan's run sucked if he lost all the time, or Steve Austin,
I don't want 50-50 booking.
Yeah, exactly. The top guys, but I think there's more guys that should be, booked to win a lot too, and not just Reigns. But you don't want the top guys losing all the time.
Last question. With Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes, and Ryback leaving for creative reasons, do you believe wrestlers will stand up and demand better creative or be silent until they are released? Well, this is a lot of guys in a very short amount of time. I don't know that we've seen this before.
It's a lot of guys, but it's not really top-level talent. I think Ryback's the only one that's really been the pay-per-view main event. I guess
Cody in the legacy thing.
Cody has, against DX. But,
that's Barrett did some main events too.
Yeah, right, that's true. Yeah, Barrett. But they weren't. It was more who they were working with as opposed to they were the main event.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of mid-card guys with potential. But again, TNA, if TNA takes them, do they have the budget to take, any of these guys on?
Did you see the tweet from Ryback about TNA?
I did.
And I gotta say, Ryborg, pretty cool name for him.
Yeah, usually when people say they're going somewhere on Twitter, they're not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When Jericho would hint at going to TNA, he never did. So
EC3 replied with "Oh shit" on Twitter to him.
Hey, I think Ryback has a ton of potential. So
I do too.
He'd be a good hand. I think Cody, Damian Sandow, Barrett, all of those, man. I mean, that's a talented roster right there.
Guys, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Wrestling Inc. Get some of our sweet Wrestling Inc. shirts. Also, of course, ddpyoga.com/Wrestling Inc. TrendyButler.com. Use the coupon code Wrestling10, all caps. Myself and Rob McCarron are back Wednesday. I want to apologize for the technical difficulties and things like that. We will have those cleared up for you, of course. Raj, anything to leave the people with?
I think that's it. Kind of ran a little late tonight, so yeah, join us on Wednesday.
Yeah, our shows will be back to the normal schedule. Obviously, technical difficulties kind of stretched it out tonight. Guys, thank you so much. Until next time, we are done.